Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token Show. Hope you guys are having a good time. And of course, your host Superman in the house representing. And I'm pretty excited today. The markets are a little bit mixed, but we've got the stock market down, and of course the crypto market up, which is kind of cool to see, right? And we're obviously going to talk about Hex later on and Hedron. We're going to get into that, but we're going to be deep diving more into Pulsechain today. Hope you guys don't mind talking about Pulsechain. I hear it's going to be a pretty big deal. So we're going to talk about that a bit there. We're also going to get, obviously, we're going to touch on, we're going to do an update on Zen, see how that's going. We're also going to have a look, obviously, at the end at the Hex Daily Stats. So that's going to be fun too. Hope you guys enjoy today's show. Woo! Don't forget to subscribe on the way in if you're new. And, of course, smash the like button as well. Remember, this is a no drama and a family channel. So we try to keep it very welcoming for new people. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And, of course, we've got a poll on at the moment. So let's have a look at the poll. Let us look at the poll. What we got? Will you pick up more Hex before Pulsechain launch? So will you pick up more Hex before Pulsechain launch? Get in there and vote, folks. We'll have a look at that later on, maybe towards the end of the Hex update. And, of course, heck yeah, let's go. Maybe, no, got my target, or no, you don't own any Hex and you're not planning to buy any Hex either. So get in there. Something for everybody to vote there, hopefully. And a lot of fun. All right, let's get into it, folks. And I might square myself up with the camera here a bit more. Let's get into the stock market. Before we do that, though, let's say hello to people in the chat, as always. We've got Lies Beneath as well. Hello, how are you today? Very, very good. And, of course, the ultimate strategy of this channel is Hex, EHX, PLS, and PLX for the win. Richard Hart has really got the gold standard of crypto projects, and we're going to take over crypto. Pulsechain will take over DeFi and change DeFi forever. It's going to be a really cool place, a safer place, a flourishing place, a profit-sharing place, a great place for community to thrive, and, of course, innovation to also grow. So it's going to be really cool for Pulsechain. Cannot wait for it. And, of course, Richard Hart is setting the tone there, protecting people for years now, warning them about people getting wrecked on CeFi and centralized exchanges, and that has played out almost like a T there for the whole of 2022. And, of course, Richard was right again and again there. So pretty good place to be. Obviously, Richard's not perfect. None of us are. But, man, some great calls, you got to admit, over the last year or two have been spectacular. So let's get into it, folks. Lies Beneath says rockets for everybody. So I like that too. Tortoise Johnny in house there. Good to see you, Tortoise Johnny. Sarah G as well. Hello, everybody. Still waiting for news on V3. I'm hoping soon we get another update. Indeed, indeed, indeed. It will be fun, fun, fun. Two. Was it 2 in a week or something like that? So pretty exciting. And, of course, both after the two big whales decided to sell down the price and got punished with that news. So it's pretty nice. I'd say punished, but, you know, they've still got millions of dollars. So, I mean, it's a, you know, give or take there. Humberto says, cheers from sunny Miami, a crypto capital of the USA. Humberto, absolutely. And, of course, hit the like button on the way in. Thank you, man, for being here day after day. Woo, you're welcome, man. As you guys know, I say this often. I know I love this stuff, and you guys love this stuff. So why not talk about it every day? I think that's pretty fun. All right, we got Bright Light in the house here. What's up? Good to see Bright Light Crypto. Hex Force 1 as well. Hey, Superman. Yeah, bought more Hex yesterday thanks to the dumper. Woohoo! Hex Force 1, yeah. So a lot of people were trying to catch the dump yesterday, and maybe their slippage was a standard slippage. They probably missed it sometimes because they had slippage. So it's a bit of a thing there when you got so many people piling in. Now, we saw it happen, right? So the dumper went to sell down, DO1 related wallet. And, of course, what was it? ADD1 or something like that. AA1D1, something like that. I can't remember now. I've actually got it saved, but I haven't pulled it up. And, he was selling down. And then, of course, he let it fall up again. He sold down, let it fall up again, sell down, let it fall up again. But, of course, we're going to talk about that when we get the Hex chart because we had really good, strong results after that event. And I'll talk more into that when we get there. AP in the house there. Always a pleasure, AP. Imagine someone holding all the way down here and selling now after AAD and DO1 are done dumping. Yeah, thanks. It was AAD. Yeah, that was the one I was trying to think of. I got close to it, but not quite there. Who else is in the house there, Hex? We've got Archipelago as well. Thanks for the picture of a gal got Wonder Woman, Superman. Yeah, Wonder Woman, Superman. That's pretty cool. Although in the last movie, weren't they trying to make Wonder Woman have some sort of quasi-relationship with Batman? Boo, Batman. I know some of you guys like Batman. But boo, Batman. Anyway, jokes aside, let's move on. Pulsechain launches and I become a billionaire. I'm going to ask her out. If she says no, then maybe Shakira. Says Archipelago. Nice one. And Michael R's in house says smash the likes. Definitely smash the likes. Yep, likes properly smashed. Nice one there, Bright Light. Michael R is in house there. Hello, Hexkin. Good to see you, Michael R as well. Who else is here? Archipelago says, I'm excited about V3 when it launches, seeing everybody say that they are excited for Pulsechain over the last nearly 2 years. As dissipated any anticipation, I'll just be in disbelief when it's out. Yeah, you'll probably pass out. Maybe passing out might be the right option there. Okay, in the house said from Edna. Good to see Edna. Good to see you in the chat there, by the way. What else have we got? Brian in the house there. Sup, folks? One of our 2 community leaders. A big shout out to Brian. Hex Stakes Hex is in the house. My man, Superman, always there for us. Smash the like. Let's go. Absolutely smash the like there, fellas and fellasses, as we say. That's a real Kiwi saying, fellas and fellasses. Anyway, I don't know where that came from, but it maybe from the old school days. Old school. Love talking about Pulsechain, says Sarah. Yes, me too. And KD says, hey, let's go, Superman. Hey, KD, always a pleasure. Fast Abdul, nice there. Like that. Good to see the love there. Who else there? Randy and GA. You see things coming together. Timing. Yeah, things are coming together quite nicely now. Rango's in the house there. Morning, all you lovely people. Good to see you, Rango. I grabbed a bag at 2 cents, says Rango on Hex. Nice. And KD says he missed the dumper. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, hey, look, we were doing a live show yesterday. We had a whole live show planned, and then the dumper came in, and we had to stall our main topic, which was Coast at the time, because we had to keep watching for what was at least 40 minutes or something, watching this whale dump and all the activity there. It was pretty dramatic on the channel. If you want to watch that action, check out the video yesterday because it was pretty crazy, crazy little live stream there. JB in the house there, evening all from the UK. Good to see JB. Hi, Hex Token from Sandy Beach, one of our community moderators. And, of course, Ted in the house. Hi, all. Good to see you, Ted. Aquaman KMX. When Pulsechain launches, Aquaman retires. Let's go. I like the thought of that, Aquaman. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people will be keen for passive income from the Pulsechain ecosystem. It will be one of the defining traits of the Pulsechain ecosystem. A lot of the projects have profit sharing in them, which seems to be one of the characteristics of Pulsechain that will stand out, I think, in the future. Have a great stream. Not feeling well and very tired. Hey, Sandy Beach, I hope you rest up and get better. We'll catch you tomorrow. Remember to drink plenty of water, and if you need to take out some aspirin or something, do that. There we are. There's your doctor's call. Welcome to Dr. Superman. But we wish you the best there, Sandy. All right, we'll catch you tomorrow. All right, so let's get some inspiration. We're going to get some inspiration later on. Stay tuned for that. But thank you, Hex Token. You're welcome, Sandy. Let's get into it, folks. The stock market. We got the Wall Street dips as tighter labor market fuels Fed worry. So the Wall Street dips as tight labor market fuels Fed worry. So obviously I've talked about this before, right? See, this is the headlines we would get, right? Isn't that predictable? So predictable. Stock market and financial markets predictable. All right, so let's get into it. Dow Jones top 30 industrials is down 0.75%, 252 points to 33,000. The S&P 500 is also similarly down at 0.75%, down 30 points to 3,898. The Nasdaq is down almost 1%, is down 104 points, down to 10,852. And of course, I guess reasonably modest pullbacks there in the markets. The dollar is also down, however, down at 101.83 versus its trading partners. Let's jump over to the commodities. We've got oil actually up 1.5%. For Brent oil, that is up $1.28 to $86.26. And West Texas is moving around a bit here, but markets are still open. That is up 22 cents to $81 for the West Texas there. So oil up a bit there. Now looking to commodities with the dollar down slightly, we've got the gold up $1.50, and that is up at $1,935 for that. And silver is up 5 cents at the moment to $24. So let's see if silver can finally make that push. It's probably going to need a bit more of the dollar collapse to do that, but that is where it is at the moment. So let's have a look at the commentary. U.S. stock indices declined on Thursday after data pointing to a tight labor market fueled concerns the Federal Reserve will maintain its aggressive path of rate hikes and result in a policy error that could tilt the economy into recession. Now, remember, we've been mostly having good indicators coming in during January, and of course that would be meaning that the Fed may be less aggressive, But obviously, after this latest indicator with the weekly jobless claims, that has slightly offset that sort of narrative a little bit there. The report from the Labor Department showed weekly jobless claims were lower than expected, indicating the labor market remains solid despite the Fed's efforts to stifle demand for workers. Yeah, trading inflation for employment. That's pretty much it. Poor people that get unemployed, right? But it's a rational market, they say. You just move to the next job and you'll go to get the payments. It's all very easy for these guys to talk like that while they're earning their hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions of dollars, isn't it? Expectations the central bank could further dial down the size of its interest rate increases at its policy announcement next month were unchanged by the report. Investors have been looking for signs of weakness in the labor market as a key ingredient for the Fed to slow its policy tightening measures. Remember that Powell has been talking about that in the speeches, that this particular area was holding up the non-property market services, and of course, in particular, the employment wages and tight employment and wage growth. Although we did see some wages come back last update. Other data showed manufacturing activity in the Mid-Atlantic region was subdued again in January, while data from the Commerce Department confirmed the recession in the housing market persisted. No surprises there as well. You've got two diametrically opposed pieces of data. One is weakening in spending data and stuff like that, and on the other hand, still fairly robust employment data. So people are relatively employed, but spending is slightly weakening there. Now, remember, a lot of people have still got a lot of assets on the side. That includes not only personal spending assets from households, but also corporates still have quite a bit of money on the side. And of course, we see that obviously the bank generates a lot of that, the lending as well, in addition to assets, a lot of the lending play. It's kind of like a seesaw. You don't know what the Fed is going to do in terms of rising rates again, by how much, holding them steady. So we are going to overdo it. I would agree with that. So typically, it's best to lean on the side that the Fed will be slightly more aggressive than the market is pricing in. That's probably where I'd sit there with that. That's kind of where they have typically been. Recent comments from the Fed officials continue to highlight the disconnect between the central bank's view of its terminal rate and the market expectations. There will be a reckoning on the 1st of February, by the way. That is the next meeting. So just taking into account, what day is it today? It's currently the 19th of January in America, 20th here. So 19th of January, that still means we've probably got, by the beginning of next week, we could see some interesting write-ups in the market leading into that Fed meeting. So I think this weekend might be quite good for crypto, but just remember that it's probably going to be a bit more volatile after that, potentially. Boston Fed President Susan Collins echoed comments from recent policymakers to support the case for interest rates to rise beyond 5%. Boo! No. Well, 5.25 is probably the top end I'm thinking that they might go to. Fed chair, 5% is kind of the target that we're thinking at this stage. Fed Vice Chair Alal Bernard said the Fed is still probing for the level of interest rates that will be necessary to control inflation. Markets, however, see the terminal rate at 4.89% by June and have largely priced in the 25 basis point rate hike from the US Central Bank in February. Now, I agree with the 25%. The market would be very shocked if we got another 50 basis points. That would shock the market. But the terminal rate I see probably going higher than 4.89. That seems too low to me. It's definitely banking in another 25 basis points if we get 25 in February for March and expecting to get up to 5%. I think this is a little bit too optimistic, this 4.89. So watch out for that. With rate cuts in the back half of the year, and I agree with that. I'm sort of around the September-October quarter as well. It's always good to be shy, be on the side of caution with the market expectations there versus the Fed. Both the S&P 500 and the Dow were poised to fall for a third straight session, their longest streak of declines in a month. Yeah, last week was pretty good. This week has been pretty red, right? So we're getting that volatility. That's pretty much it. Analysts now expect year-over-year earnings from S&P 500 companies to decline 2.8% in the fourth quarter. So there we are, and of course compared with 1.69% decline in the beginning of the year. So that seems fair to me. Particularly if we move into a recessionary type of market conditions there. So we'll see. Watch out for that. We might have to do a whole nother video on the GDP and the recession aspects there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We're going to jump over from there to crypto. So like I say, stock market had a bit of a red day again, third one in a row. And of course, we've got Friday's data coming in, right? It will be tomorrow. So we'll be talking about that. It will be Saturday, my time. We'll be talking about that. But crypto, no, didn't get impacted. Crypto was down yesterday, but is up today. And of course, nice to see that that correlation not play out. BTC at 21,075. Up 1.72%, and ETH there at 1,550, up 1.75%. Nice to see the not correlating there. BNB is up $294. Like I say, we don't have, we don't really have earnings season. We should have a lot more protection in some ways. We still, crypto is still subject to risk off. If all the markets was really bad news, we'd still get that, but we shouldn't really be moving too often with the day-to-day movings of stock market. So it's nice to see this to sort of confirm that today, at least. Pretty cool. Now, let's have a look at some of the standouts. We have got some standouts here. We've got APE up 6.6%. We can see the engine here. I think there's another metaverse one there. Is up 11.85%. Nexo up 10%. And, of course, BAT there up 6.8%. Seems to be some of the standouts there. Have a look through here. We've got FTT. Look at FTT. This thing should be dead in the water, but no, it's $2.30, up 28%. There we are. There must be a little bit of news there. It can't just be speculation. I think they're trying to resurrect it, doing certain things, trying to resurrect the project or community or something. I did see some article on that. Let us know in the chat if you've seen anything on FTT, because I'm pretty sure there was something that they're doing that may be causing that. NEAR is up 5% there, and HBAR, which I've seen before, is up 13.7%. There we are. That's kind of the highlights there. Is this Raven coin down here? Raven here? I can't quite get there. Let me just see if I can pull up Raven coin. Can I pull up Raven coin? I don't know. 16% on Raven coin. There we are. So I haven't really been involved with Raven coin, but I have seen it around. There is it there. All right. So cool. That is the market moment. The stable coins are pegged. That's kind of cool to see. And let's jump into Hex though. Boom. Before we go. So here is Hex at the moment, 2.39 cents. Pretty much playing a best case scenario on Hex. I know the price is only 2.39 after being up at 2.7, 2.8, but we got rejected at the resistance, right? Which I had at 2.8 to 3.1. So we got rejected there. And of course, that's based on these previous supports here that we had. And we did get rejected there. But of course, we had a special event. We had a big giant whale, DO1 there, and AAD. AA1, AAT, I think it is. That also that dumped yesterday with this big candle. Look at this candle, man. This big giant wick. But what a powerful wick. Nice little positive little doji there. That is really cool. Well done, Hexkins, man. And, of course, we watched that live get dumped down. It was a pretty crazy day. Look at that thing all the way down. The bottom at 1.958 cents. Can you believe it? And the high of 2.467. And, of course, we managed to bounce back. Let's have a look at the hourly there, and this was the dramatic. Look at this. We sort of started off. Started off around. I can't remember. It was somewhere in here that we started off in the hourly, and maybe let's say this argue, but the top was 2.46. I can't remember the exact first sell that he had, but let's remember it's up around here. We dropped all the way down. He just basically let it. He sold like 20-30 million, then he let it full up again, sell, full up again. On the way out, trying to raise his average there. And honestly, the buying was really encouraging to see that buying back up. And as I said to you, normally when you get these sort of big wicks from these whales, you want to get at least 2/3 the way back up to give you some strength. If you get like 1/3 the way up, then you're in trouble with the charts. I've typically seen, like if it came up here and only got up to 1/3, somewhere around here, around 2.1, it often can just dribble back down there. And you're like, oh, that sucks. That's kind of where it happens here. But it came up really strongly, and we got up to a 2.25, and then it pushed even higher after that. So that's kind of really cool. Got up to 2.475 here. So pretty much back to where we started, which was super strong. Obviously, it's a bit of a trauma event for the chart as well, and we were in a slight downtrend anyway. And of course, the market has sold off a bit there with some of the speculators and stuff like that in there. We got down to 2.24 though, and made a higher low, and have started to move back up again. Here we are up 2.39. So I think the chart's looking pretty good. This is on the hourly, and it looks like we might have a bullish cross on the hourly as well. So that's kind of cool. Let's have a look at the 4 hourly. You can see it's 4 hourly there. We've got the RSI was down quite low. Looks like that's got room to move higher. Obviously, want to see that cross as well, with the orange crossing the red there. So the short term over the long term, the 3 weeks. Let's get to the daily, and this is what we got. Nice little bullish doji there, and we're sitting right in the middle with the RSI. So that's kind of there what we're at. What else am I going to say about this? Yeah, like nice to see a little. We got the opposite with the cross though. So we need to get some nice little green candles here to have a short-lived bearish signal and move back into a positive one. So maybe over the weekend we might just get that. Looks pretty good so far to me. And of course we get BDC and stuff like this doing a nice rally. That would be pretty cool as well over the weekend. So we've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and there may be a chance that we have a red day in the stock market tomorrow on Friday. So that'd be pretty cool. All right, so let's have a 24-hour. We've got 714 buys versus 334 sells. So that's 68% buy activity. Obviously, we've got sort of still in the redistribution phase for Hex, which is pretty cool. And the sell volume, the buy volume is 49%. So we've got a 68% buy by transaction, but a 49% buy by volume. 7 million versus 7.1 million. So it's a pretty high volume day, obviously, with the big whale selling out. And over the 6 hours, we've got 88 buys versus 55. So it's 61% buy. But the buy volume over the last 6 hours has been better. So that's kind of cool. 53% buy volume, and that's 784,000 versus 674. So that's really cool. The last hour being particularly bullish. 11 buys over eight sells, and we've got 105,000 over 40,000 sells. So 72% buy volume. So that's kind of cool. Let's let it may continue into the weekend. Very, very exciting. And of course, this was on the back of 2 teasers from Richard Hart, which we're going to talk about as well. I'm not going to go into the roadmap. We've covered that many, many times. I'll probably cover it in the future if we get more information, but that is pretty cool. The only thing I'm going to do is get rid of that, and let's pull in let's get rid of the RSI as well and pull this in. I've got the overlays off, so let's put the overlays on. So there's our overlays, and what I was going to say was the testnet here. Let's just do that quickly. I've got the testnet here. 26 is kind of my guesstimation here on the testnet, given the fact that we've had those 2 teasers, and we know that apparently the code for the clients are all being done and they're just testing, and and then the dev said it was going to be soon, really soon. He said so. That was from Braytet there. So I just put in 2 weeks after the first staker teaser, and now we had that second teaser yesterday. And of course, I just put that in for the 26th of January. I think Brennan's got the 28th or 29th of January, but it looks like possibly we could get it definitely in this range up to the March. Sort of seems like a good range. I mean, it's quite wide, but hey, we just don't know when it's going to be. But that's kind of my soonest part there. So that'd be pretty bullish. We got it at the end of January. Pretty nice, 26, not too far away either. That'd be pretty cool. Let's see how accurate this is, when it comes up there. So that is kind of where we're at the moment. Let's jump over to the Hex Whalebot and see what's been going on the last 24 hours. Let's have a look here. We've had all these. These are the back end sales, so that 15 million. So you can see that all there. We did have the 70 million export. That was a bit weird, that transaction. I remember looking at it live. Was just a bit of a play there. I'm not sure by the same whale. Hadn't actually checked that, but that was in play, and he sold it. Yeah, so it's just a buy and sell, bit of a manipulation there in the market, probably a bit of profiting. 16, he got how much money was that? Yeah, so he made a little bit of profit on that. We got another one sell from the whale. We got the big stake at 27 for 139 days. These are these short stakers, and I did go through the fact that these guys will be paying a high T-share rate the next time they go to stake. From the Hex Godwhale, and imagine if the Hex Godwhale rinses and repeats short staking like that with 2 billion X would have put on there. That'd be pretty crazy. So cool. We had 5.5 million export 3 hours ago for 85 ETH. So very nice. We like that. That's cool. We like the price to go up and to the right. Now, your friend Somi wrote a comment here. Wallet EEB6 has a total of 334.7 million Hex. He has 2 stakes for 27 million Hex each. 10.4 million Hex, liquid Hex now. And of course, wallet is 1,079 days old at over 50 million liquid Hex at one point. So there we are. Nice to see nice to see that buy in there. But hey, look, speculations, speculators as well. Let's jump away from that though and get into Hedron. Hedron at the moment 14.25, and of course we've got the sellers coming up to meet the buyers on the DMI there. Definitely says the buyers trend is over here, but it could always re-emerge. But that is currently technically over on that. We've got 49 on the RSI. Let's get into the full chart. We've got 75 buys over the last 24 hours, 45 sells, so it's kind of positive. And the buy volume is 261,000, 46% versus 294,000 sell. And of course, you can see that in the chart, obviously moving down with Hex as well. So the whale had a broader impact. Remember, Hedron is in the Hex ecosystem, sort of the second layer of Hex, and it has that kind of property or relationship to it. So that's kind of the play at the moment. It was in a slight downtrend anyway, but like Hex was, so no surprise there. That is pretty much it. I think, no, we're still looking at the last 6 hours. 6 hours, the volume slightly stronger in the buyer's favor, 39,000 versus 37. In the last hour, only 2 buyers, but 12,000 buy volume. No sellers in the last hour, so that's positive for the old Hedron chart there. Let's have a look at the hourly. You can sort of see the hourly there. That was the action there around the whale. And of course, managed to just slowly simmer down here. Let's see whether it can pick up the action. Let's have a look at the HSIs. We got 4,246 HSIs in the liquidation pool that have not been bought into the auction. The next big auctions are coming up in about the 12th of February. So stay tuned for that. I think we've got over 25,000 T-shares due after that. That is the second main cycle of burning potentially for Hedron. Now, obviously, we hope that that's going to be more successful versus burning versus minting than the first round. The first round was, it was okay. I think it was net $500 billion, but we want to see bigger numbers than that in terms of the burning. So just depends on the mint, right? Let's have a look here, and that will probably depend on the price as well at the time. So we got nine HSIs in the auction house at the moment. Let's have a look at some of the bigger ones here. We've got 50,000 Hex there. That's about the only big one there. We've got another one here, 52. So they're about 60 shares each. Currently going for 470 million Hedron on this one that's about to close in 8 hours. So something there for everybody there. All right, let's jump away from that. We're going to look at the Wattses. Watts of NFTs, 9 watts of NFTs burned yesterday. That's a pretty decent day. 1,418 million points. So we're down at 21,738. It's about 1.5% of Wattses have been burned. Koza seems to be stable in the Koza price, and this is where we are. So we only had about $1,500 burnt yesterday. That is, 9's a lot, but a relatively smaller amount in US dollar terms. So that is the play on Wattses. Obviously, this is pretty funny here. This was a little picture here. I thought it was kind of funny. Me in summer of 2023 celebrating the launch of Pulsechain with my family. So that is a lead into our Pulsechain. But before we do that, though, let's get into a bit of inspiration from Richard. Let's go.
You want to get rich? I'm going to tell you a little something about money. In this world, you don't see the richest people doing things with their time and getting paid hourly. There's not enough hours in the day. If you're the highest paid lawyer, the highest paid doctor, no matter how much you make, there's still just not enough hours in the day. There's only one of you, right? We may have different educations, different skills, different opportunities, but the one thing we all have the same is our time. So in this world, if you want to become truly wealthy financially, you need to do things which aren't based on your hours. That means that you need to start a business or own something, because when you're sleeping, the things that you own will still be working, right? So let's say you own a piece of real estate and you rent it out. When you go to sleep, your real estate's still working for you. Let's say you start a business and you have some employees doing the work. Once you can afford your first employee, you can waste your time however you like.
So that was a little bit of inspiration there from Richard Hart. And of course, in Hex, when you stake your Hex, you get T-shares. T-shares are kind of like your employees. They're a bit of a money printer, printing you Hex yield every single day. And of course, you get rewarded for longer pays better. The longer you stake, the more T-shares you get and the more rewards you get, pretty much, which is pretty cool. And I didn't realize there was some little music in there, so hopefully I don't get pinged for copyright, because I got my channel got quite affected last month for all the copyrights that I got for playing little short videos, and definitely it influenced the channel results last month. I got to be careful with that one as a YouTuber. Let's get into it. We got the votes here. Let's end the poll. We've got 57 votes, so we're going to end that and see the results before we get into Pulsechain. So if you're ready for Pulsechain, that's our main topic now. Will you pick up more Hex before Pulsechain launch? Heck yeah. Let's go 78%. There we are. There's a lot of cool Hex skins in there. And why not? You're going to get a copy on Ethereum and on Pulsechain, I should say. And of course, 2 passive income is going to be pretty good. I think both chains are going to operate pretty nicely. Maybe 14%, and no, got my target 3%. Don't own any Hex and not buying 3% there. So welcome if you're not buying. Check out hex.com, get into our Discord if you want to find out more information. And of course, remember to do your own investment due diligence. Nothing on this channel is investment advice, but welcome, big welcome. Cool, let's get into some of the comments before we get into the Pulsechain update. Brendan says, get well, Sandy. Absolutely get well. Ashley in the house there. Woo, that was funny hearing you yesterday with the whale dump. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I laughed at myself. I almost got myself rug pulled as well. Ashley in the house there. Get well quickly, Sandy. Very nice. Thank you, everybody, says Sandy. Very, very cool. What else we got there? Thank you from Sandy Beach. Jimmy Villain in the house there. New to Hex, but something. Yeah, well, there's a family channel there, Jimmy. So we're going to have to delete. If someone moderator can delete that comment. We are a family channel, so we try to keep the language down, including myself. So even little plays off that. So I'm going to have to delete that one, unfortunately. What else there? My moderator's not doing the job. What's happening with the moderators? That's get a can of V. I don't know. Mike is in the house there. Hello all, and what's up, Superman? Good to see you, Mikey. LFG says QQ. Not good to see you in the house. There's Hexfeed as well. Hi all. And QQ says, what a recovery after that dumping yesterday. But they are out fully or more coming. They have T-shares coming out, about 5,200 T-shares in 2029. They also are number 8, I think, in Pulsechain, and a pretty big number in Pulsechain Sacrifice. Number 8 in Pulsechain. Yeah, pretty big whales in the Pulsechain Sacrifice. So if you think there's not going to be any dumping, well, you know that there's at least one large whale that's likely to dump at some stage. So just now you know who it is. Stake Hex there will always be opportunities to get discounts when you got whales like that dumping. Hey, Superman, I just heard your Prime Minister just resigned. She was an appalling abuser of human rights of her own people. Congratulations, Stake Hex. You're 100% right. It was great news yesterday hearing that she had resigned. You know what the media do? The media is such against the people. They try to make her to be the victim. Can you believe it? She oppressed the people. She removed our freedom rights. She got them suspended at the High Court. The High Court judges were pathetic in their evaluations. Honestly, if you read the papers, which I have done, it is pathetic. Honestly, you expect a lot more from them. They were it's just horrific reading the High Court's decision. This is on one particular case that was very fundamental to their suspending our human rights from the Bill of Rights Act. It was pretty scary. And of course, she's imposed her worldview. So we've had a period, decades of freedom in the West, where we have the freedom of speech and all these freedoms of movements, and these guys have taken it away from us, and they're planning on worse things ahead. Currently, the New Zealand government's running something like 20 different bills through the House under a fake urgency following the Queen's passing, and they're all to impose their worldview. So they're going to control what we can say, what we can do, and looking ahead where we can go. So this is why people have to stand up for their freedoms around the world. If you want to lose them, then do nothing. If you want to protect them, then talk to your local MP. Get maybe a bit civilly active. Talk to other people. Just do what you can if you're comfortable with. But being ignorant means that you can lose everything eventually. So people just want to live their lives, right? They just want to have fun, raise their families, do things. A lot of people are not interested in this stuff. And unfortunately, I believe a lot of the mainstream media. Mainstream media is just terrible after what she did to us. And hey, look, the whole leadership's bad in the Labour Party, and we don't have a great alternative. We got the National Party, which is not really conservative. It's really like Labour Light, it's more progressive. So they've got the same issues. They're trying to impose their worldview. It won't be as bad, but they probably will be harsher on the economics. So that's kind of where we are there with that. We don't have the hope that we do in Canada. At least you have Polyev there, and of course he's wonderful leader. We don't have anything like that here. So our alternative is a weak form. So but it should be better. It should be better if and the polls look like a good chance that he may be winning there. So we'll hope for the best. Protecting basic freedoms is fundamental. Imagine somebody telling you that just because you disagree with them, they're going to outrule what you say and what you do. No, that's not the way it works. The way it works should be that the best ideas win, right? It's a battle of ideas. So that's a little speech from me. But great news. We'll take the win. Who else is? They got some pretty bad people in the leadership there. So it's a win. But there's probably more bad stuff to come. A lot more bad stuff to come, unfortunately. Wookie's in the house there. Loves the Hedron. It will have its day in the sun. Hedron will. I do believe that. And of course, Randy Alaski big in Hedron too. We've got Fat Sammy in the house there, one of our other community leaders. So good to see Fat Sammy. Hi all. Michael R in the house as well. Good to see Michael R. Check My Pulse says, good evening, everybody. Good evening, Check My Pulse. Mods on strike says Fat Sammy. Apparently they're on strike. 2023, the year of Pulsechain. I love that. Check My Pulse. And of course, we need a pay rise, says Brendan. Apparently, wait for Pulsechain. Wait for Pulsechain. Pulse gains. That's going to happen there. Katie says, mods looking at the price chart, lol. Yeah, apparently. Fast Abdul says, give me a wrench and I will kick out everybody, says Fast Abdul. That's not how we're operating, Fast Abdul. We just we're a family channel, so we keep the language toned down, and we have maximum freedom of speech within that round there. We just like to keep the tone down, and we're no drama channel. We try to keep all the drama out. As tempting as drama can be, we try to just talk about crypto and value, because that's if you want to get wealthier, then you don't focus on the drama, focus on the value and the crypto, and a good community, because you want to have a good time on the way there, right? So we've got good community as well. All right, so Fat Sam says New Zealanders can breathe a short sigh of relief. Yeah, that's probably the right way to talk about there. Opinion-based politics is horrible, says Katie. Yeah. Politics working with WEF, get them out. Yeah, if you guys have, this is not a politics channel, obviously, but if you have seen the WEF, the World Economic Forum's stuff in there, these guys are looped. They're crazy nuts, and they've got terrible plans. Plans for people. They want to control. They want to control you. They're going to. They look up to the Chinese with the authoritarian stuff. With the because in China at the moment they've got cities where they've got drones that are going over the cities, monitoring people, cameras everywhere, IDs that ID everything you have. In the UK now, they've got a city that's coming up. I can't remember. It's coming pretty soon. They're going to be doing limited control, meaning that within 15 miles or so, you cannot not go out to. You need a passport to go to the next borough. They've got that coming up. So these guys have got some terrible plans ahead for us. Very dystopian stuff. And of course, we have a limited window in terms of pushing back on a lot of the stuff. And that starts easiest with voting in the people that want freedom, that want to maintain freedom. Because these guys, they think they're smarter than you, they think they're better than you, and of course they're certainly wealthy because they're all earning lots of money. But we have a limited window in terms of pushing them back. So cool. Long live King Trudeau, says Fast Abdul. Yeah, good one. Raju in the house there. Hello. Good to see Raju. And Ashley says they're all Muppets. They're very dangerous Muppets, unfortunately. Money and Jam. Yep, digital identity, says Michael. Yeah. These guys are up to no good. Anyway, let's get into Pulsechain. We try not to be a political channel, but of course, every so often we can't help but talk about it a little bit there. Me in summer of 2023, celebrating the launch of Pulsechain with my family. That is what we're looking forward to, and 2023 looking very good, in particular the first half of this year looking very, very good for a potential launch there for Pulsechain. We're waiting for testnet V3 first, which is really the first version or V1 of the proof of stake, and that's very bullish. We should see some excitement in the market there. So let's get on to the updates that we had. We had Richard Hart give us the first update teaser of the private V3 testnet. And of course, this was the staking portal here, obviously to become a validator. I think there's going to be a bit of innovation in that space. Firstly, you need 32 million polls to become a validator. You typically would have to set up your own node software. And of course, I think there'll be innovation in that space where people can, just like in Ethereum, go use third-party services and participate in that way. And if you've got under 32 million, there may be options for that with some DApp innovations as well. So we'll see how that happens, but I suspect to see those sort of innovations come out of the validation. Obviously, we can see the test network here set up here with their values 256, so it's 128 times 2, and of course you need that for the attesters for the blockchain. Obviously, once someone gets chosen to confirm the blockchain, and the rest of them attest it there, up to 126. They got 2 groups of that from the looks of it. We can see that the APR there. Now it's going to be interesting. The APR when we got on the chain as well. Obviously, depending on the block reward in terms of the tips that we get, like tips on Ethereum, that is the tips that the validators get. Of course, 90% of the base fee, 90% pretty much of the fee gets burned. And of course, we're going to see interesting parameters around that for Pulsechain as well. So what that looks like. The other thing, of course, we got this some test pulse in there as well. So very, very cool. This launchpad will help you to become a Pulsechain validator so you can play an active part in Pulsechain's future. Validators are key to security, scalability, and sustainability of Pulsechain. By running a validator, you'll be responsible for securing the network and receive continuous payouts for actions that help reach network consensus. Pulsechain is fully secured by proof-of-stake validators. By running a validator, you'll be helping to secure the Pulsechain network, which is pretty cool. Become a validator. No, so you click on that. Click, 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 click. At the top here, we've got overview, a deposit, a client, a checklist, a FAQ, etc. And of course, this is Pulsechain Testnet V3. This is a private one. It's not public yet, right? So don't fall for any of that. We had 512,000 views almost on that since he posted that on the 12th of January. So very, very bullish there. Imagine when mainnet goes live, I suspect we'll get millions of people clicking on that. All right, so then he gave us the second update, which is not around staking, the validator staking, with terms of confirming blockchains and sharing the rewards. But we had Pulsechain V3 Testnet is coming along fine. And of course, this came out yesterday. This is already, how many hours is this? I'm not sure how many hours this is. Let me just go. I've actually lost it then, have I? I've lost it. Let's go back. Right, so we got Pulsechain V3 Testnet is coming along fine. So a nice little confidence builder there. There are 4 Pulsechain clients go. Pulse, Prism, Pulse, Aragon, Pulse, and Lighthouse Pulse. So if we just take the Pulse off, we got Go, Prism, Aragon, and Lighthouse. So Go and Aragon being the execution layer, and of course Prism and Lighthouse being the consensus protocols there. Here's a screenshot of the Pulsechain private testnet Beacon Chain Explorer. So we've got this Beacon Explorer, very, very cool, as opposed to Block Scout, which we're currently using for V2B. And of course, you can see that we went through that yesterday. We've got the actual most recent blocks confirming the 10-second block time. You can see the 10-second block time down there. So pretty cool. And you got blocks going into slots. Now, slots don't have to have blocks going in them, but we've got slots going in there, which is pretty cool. And then we've got the epochs there as well. So that is pretty exciting to see that. And I talked about that in yesterday's video. So very, very cool. Let's jump away to, we've also got the name Pulse Ramp up there, I know too, for the official bridge. So that's interesting. They got the name there, Pulse Ramp. Let's jump over to some of the details here. Now, it does look like that this new Explorer here for the Beacon chain, for Pulsechain, which is on Testnet, is a fork of beaconchar.in. So beaconchar.in. It's got the same UI here, as you can see. And it looks to be a fork of that. So it's kind of cool. Beaconchain.in. I'll post this link in the chat there if you want to check it out. That is kind of cool, right? That is kind of cool. There we are. Beaconchar.in. There we are. So that is kind of neat. You can see all the stuff in here too. This probably has a little bit more detail. We've got the proposers here. Look how many proposers. It's amazing. 30-second blocks as well on this one. 12-second blocks on this one. And you've got the block height and the slots and the epochs there. So pretty cool. You can see the epoch 389. So 389 all the way down 389. But we've got different slots in here. 463, 464, all the way up. This is on the ETH chain, of course. And then we've got the different blocks that are running at the moment with the last block there on Ethereum. Now, this chart obviously has ETH on the left-hand side, which is correct. And, of course, the validators there. So it's got them lining up, moving ahead as we go. It's kind of cool. What's it? Look how many validators. 501,958 active validators on ETH chain. 501,958. Isn't that incredible? And of course, what we're going to get for our ramp up on ours. At the moment, obviously, we don't have that on there. This shows ETH, but that is really supposed to be Pulse there. And of course, that is, imagine getting the ramp up here on the number of validators. So it's going to be crazy to see that. So we'll probably have a lot of validators out of the gate. And then decrease over time. Now, one of the other things, of course, having 10-second block times, depending on what the reward fees and things like that are, is that having more blocks means that we're going to have more burning in a year. So instead of 12-second block times like Ethereum, we have 10-second block times. That's another helps with deflationary, especially if we get a lot of congestion in the market. I'm actually fairly bullish on the volume of going through the pipe. Imagine a big pipe and you got how much water you got going through that pipe. Obviously, at the beginning, expect maybe just a small flow of water through that pipe as Pulsechain launches. Probably at the beginning, it'll be a bit of a hurrah because it's just launching. But then I think over time it could ramp up pretty quickly. We're seeing a lot of growth in the Ethereum ecosystem and a lot of growth in the native Pulsechain projects as well. So I'm actually fairly optimistic about that. We're going to have on Pulsechain a lot of the top tiered dApps as well. I think that's going to be pretty bullish too. So that is pretty interesting. The other thing, of course, is let's get into a bit of deep dive into some of the stuff here. So we've got two components. We've got the execution clients on the chain that Pulsechain is forking. And this is formerly called the ETH1 clients. That's the execution client. So this is the first part. And then we have the second part, which is the consensus clients, formerly ETH2 and clients. So let's have a quick look through this as well. So the Ethereum community maintains multiple open source execution clients, previously known as ETH1 clients or just Ethereum clients, developed by different teams using different programming languages. This makes the network stronger and more diverse. The ideal goal is to achieve diversity without any client dominating to reduce any single points of failure. I think that's kind of a neat thing too. We should see that parallel to some degree on Pulsechain. This table summarizes the different clients. All of them passed client tests and are actively maintained to stay up with the network upgrades. So this is the execution clients, and we can see here we've got Geth. The language is using Go. Operating systems Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. We've got mainnet networks, mainnet, Sepolia, and Goerlia. The test networks there. We've got sync strategies, Snap and Full, and state pruning, archive, and pruned. Now we've got other ones here. Nevermind, Bisu, and Kula. So those are three as well. But the other one that we know that the team is working on is Aragon. So Geth and Aragon. So if we go back to Richard Hart's updates here, let's get out of there. We've got Aragon and Go, right? Aragon and Go. That is what we're talking about here. So we've got Geth here and Aragon for the execution node. So that was pretty interesting, I thought. We're going to have a quick look at the consensus clients. So we've got here, there are multiple consensus clients previously known as ETH2 clients to support the consensus upgrades. They are running on the beacon chain and will provide a proof of stake consensus mechanism to execution clients after the merge. So we looked at the execution clients and of course Geth and Aragon. And of course, now we're looking at the consensus. We can see two of the ones that we use, and we've got Lighthouse and we've got Prism. There are Lodestar and Nimbus and TQ as well. And we can see that Lighthouse is based on the language of Rust. The operating system is Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. Networks, Beacon Chain, Goerlia, Pyromont, Sepolia, Robstain, and more. And we've also got Prism there on the Go language and Beacon Chain, etc. on that one as well. So those are the two client nodes there as well, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, let's see what the diversity of those are. We can see that the client diversity here is shown in these two charts here. So on the left-hand side, we've got Geth there at 83.7%. And what else? We got Aragon at 5.7%. So Geth really the number one there. We do have Open Ethereum there at 8.1% on the execution load. But then if we look at the consensus, we can see that Prism is 66% and Lighthouse is 18.7%. So that's probably a good reason why the teams have chosen those in particular to upgrade to, instead of having millions of Ethereum, having trillions of Pulse. So that's probably the reason there. These are the top two. We can see them in the pie chart. They're pretty dominant there, making up, how much is that? 70, 80, 84, 85% of the consensus. So that's pretty cool. And of course, that's with validation in there as well, not just consensus validation using for the blockchain. And then on this side, we've got Geth there, 83.7, and then we've jumped to Aragon there. So that's 88, 89, just almost 90% actually, 89.5% with Geth and Aragon. So that looks like the logical choice there, and the team has gone with that. So that's kind of cool with this update. So that's kind of there. I thought that'd be quite a neat seeing that. Hopefully that was of interest. I'll post in the links to this in the video description in case you want to check that out yourself. Boom. There's lots more interesting information there if you want to check that as well. And let's look at the diversity. I'll post that as well. So hopefully that's of some interest to some of you out there. All right, so cool. Let's get into some of the stuff we've seen from the team here as well. This was posted originally here. So Lighthouse is from something that KDP posted from the GitLab here. And of course, this was Lighthouse that we had on there. We also had the CLI, the staking deposit, which is really coming back to Richard's view of this. So it's kind of the CLI there as well. So that's kind of cool. We got other stuff here, stuff to make it faster as well, executing faster with the fast SSZ on the hash there, and a few others. We've got Pulse Swap in there and other stuff there, PLSX airdrop. So we've got a few other folders in there, so that was kind of cool. We've got the team here. This is on the Pulsechain group. We've got updates happening. 3 comms there. This is the developer team. 19th of January. They keep updating every day, so it's positive, right? And we've got 19th there for Brent. Who else is in on the 19th? We've also got SJB933 there on the 19th as well. So that is pretty cool. They're all working pretty hard. Obviously, we also have the PulseX one, so we might bring that up as well. PulseX man. And let's go to the members, see who's been logging in some form or another. We don't know what they're doing exactly, but we've got 3 commas there, 19th, Agris there, 19th. We've got Artem there, the 20th of January. BNC, the 20th of January, did something. He may have just closed the tab, who knows, but he's in there. And Brett there, 19th. Heinz there, 20th. So we're getting lots of sort of interaction with it in any case from many of the teams. So that is going pretty good there as well. So that is pretty much the Pulsechain update. Hopefully that was some insights for some of you as well. It's pretty cool, I thought, to go through those basic things, get people around the terminology a bit. So that's cool. Let me just jump down the bottom here. Let's get back up here. I think we've got into the comments here. We've got Raju in the house. Hello, good to see Raju. We got up to that for sure. Crypto T in the house there. Stocks down, Zen up. That's true. Katie is the gift. Oh, that keeps on giving, says Brennan. Definitely is. Boom, says Katie. Boom, boom. Enjoy, says Katie. Hopefully when mainnet goes live, it will help Hex go viral. I think it definitely will help with that there, Sarah G. We've got the highest of stakes expected to come out Q1, Q2 as well. So we've got 2 big things coming. Don't worry, Richard, is Zen or Burn PLS. We're going to talk about that too. So actually, we're going to talk about that. Birdo's in house there. I think the Pulsechain launch should be done during your stream. It probably will, Birdo. It's often so many of these happen at a time. It's pretty crazy. So there's the execution client link. And there is the consensus clients. And nice there from Lies. There is also the client diversity there showing those pie charts, the dominance there. Danu's in house there. Woo! Good to see Danu. Zen is up 38%. Says Crypto T. We're coming up to Zen. We're going to talk about that in a second. Danu says, woo, can't wait for Pulsechain. Me too, Danu. I'm excited for sure. Humberto says, never before have we seen so many constant updates from Pulsechain devs. This is a clear indication the launch is very close. I think so. What do I call the video? Staking Blockchain Explorer teasers, signals, Pulsechain Testnet V3 soon. I do think that is a very real thing. The biggest thing, of course, is when a dev says it's really close, so that helps a lot. I'm guessing you didn't see KD gift more memberships earlier? No, there was an earlier today. Yesterday I did. I shouted out KD on that one. That was yesterday. I didn't see any today. He gave some today. Let me have a look. I can find out. Let me go to the members. Let's have a look here. Well, it looks like a few members in there. So big shout out to KD for the gifts. I didn't see that on my other computer because I wasn't looking at it. It looks like we've got a few new people in the house there. Blair, Dan Smith, RDX Lorian. Who else is in there? RDX Lorian, Charles Stone, Tortoise Johnny, Dark Matter, Mr. Prophet, and Machiavelli. So big shout out to KD there. He'll get there, says Brian. I got there in the end. Yeah, got there in the end. Yeah, but it's all good though. Yeah. I wasn't actually looking at the computer that pot shows it up, so I do apologize on that one. Yesterday I caught it though. Yesterday I did. So that's good. That's all it counts. Yesterday is all it can. No, I'm just kidding. But that was pretty cool. All right. So some of the big news that we had, this was after the live stream yesterday, is that Maximus, we finally see the mystery box move. The mystery box moved. Look at this. Alert for team stakers. So if you're holding team, very good news for you. The mystery box sent 2.5 million team into year 1 staker rewards bucket. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Isn't that fantastic? There's the mystery box address there and the team contract address. That is awesome stuff. So the mystery box has moved. If you think about the OA and you think about the mystery box, you think about the Hedron. What do we call the Hedron account? I can't remember now. You've got 3 of those, kind of like the financial operators, or not quite operators. At least the other 2 are more like angels from above in the place there. So that's pretty good. I'll post a link to this if you want to check out those links. But very, very cool from the Maximus team. The other thing that Maximus team has done is updated the dashboard. So they've got a dashboard update there, which is pretty cool. And you can actually see the walkthrough here. So I'll post a link to the Maximus dashboard update. So if you're holding Maximus tokens, then you can check this out. That is pretty cool too. So they had the update here. I may post that as an individual video on the channel later on today, so stay tuned for that. So pretty nice stuff here coming from the team. The next token staking data set to the Maximus dashboard will be Hex, Hedron, and Wats, and that was pretty cool. So the new all-in-one Maximus DAO dashboard looks pretty good, right? Look at all the tokens, man. This team is epic. And they've also teased about doing a Poly 2, I think it is, a Poly 2. So that'd be pretty cool. I think that would be a good move, actually. That would be nice. And of course, they know the issue with the code, so they can fix that up and operate properly this time. That is cool. Let's quickly get into Zen. Now, Zen obviously had a pump here. So we haven't talked about Zen a few days in a row here, but it's definitely having a pump. It is overbought on the RSI here on 15-minute, but let's go to 4-hourly. That's a better time zone. So there it is on the 4-hourly, and it's just entered the overbought zone there, so just be a bit more cautious. It's not like mainnet is launching tomorrow. But what's making this move? Well, obviously, Jack Levin has been on YouTubers stuff talking about the Zen project. And in any case, he's been talking about the choice of the benchmark. So doing a mainnet for Zen, and already teased the fact that he's already working on it. Remember, this is a simpler form of blockchain. This is not trying to fork Ethereum. Just remember that. So this is just a simpler fork. And, of course, you can get that up and running much faster. And of course have a lower yield. So expecting lower validator numbers on there too. I think he was talking about 100 or so. So we'll end up, see what those final parameters are. So they can just fork some of these easy fork chains, and of course have high transaction speeds and so forth. So Zen chain layer 1 choice of benchmark. Finding prime numbers is hard on CPU and gas. We're focused on short block times under 2 seconds, and of course fast throughput over 100,000 per second if possible, using proof of authority consensus. So proof of authority there, and that is kind of what he's doing. I think I had another comment here, yeah, something like that. He's got Zen chain. Then he posted 18 hours ago. Zen chain testnet is up on the AWS using a transformer for scaling, and of course day 1 running benchmarks. This is the easy part. The slightly harder part is deploying bridgeless interchain communication layer. And of course, they are looking to reward people that burn on other chains to get a credit to get the gas token for this new test. So that's what's excited the market, getting the main chain and so forth. So, you can decide the pros and cons of another chain. But in any case, that's a pumpamento. A lot of people obviously know how well chains do, and of course, how widespread this has been picked up in terms of being at probably about 1/3 of the burning on Ethereum. And so that's pretty big. So anyway, only to get to native token, of course, you got to burn. It's not just going to be given to Zen holders. You've actually got to burn. That looks like the case there. So that was a bit of a teaser there, bit of a ramp up on the market there. The funny thing was, though, he goes, this is really funny. All my Zen is coming out in 400 days from now. So he's got all these pumpamental projects, but of course, he doesn't have the liquid Zen. So it's pretty funny there. Unless he's got it in a consortium somewhere else. Individually, his strategy has been to mint out as far as you can to get most of the volume in the first couple of years. That's the strategy, and I think that will probably end up being a winning strategy, to be honest. So that's pretty much it on that one. I think let's jump through. I think that was probably it I wanted to go through. Let me just go up to see if there's got anything new. Yeah, I think that's it. So this is the roadmap that they're looking at the moment. They've got the reflection token, the Zen NFTs as collateral to borrow against. This all coming up, and then flash loans. But in the meantime, they've also obviously got the main chain that's jumped into this roadmap as well. So that happened pretty fast. And of course, the market liked it. So the market's jumped from here, 1,700 up to 2,400 here. So pumping nicely here at the moment, but is getting into the overbought on that 4-hourly. On the daily, let's have a look. On the daily there, well, it doesn't really show too much, but let's jump over to, let's get rid of the RSI and go to the full chart. Obviously, a lot of people like posting this chart, a rec chart, as it were, but not looking at the actual project roadmap. They're just looking at the chart. So you can't just do that, right? It's just like the people that bought up here, they didn't look at the roadmap and what's going on with the tokenomics, and so they got wrecked pleb. Now, when you're down here and you see the roadmap submerged after say 100 days, you've got to start saying, well, I've got to reassess my evaluation on this project. That's pretty much where we are here at the moment. So going to be interesting to see this. We've had 282 buys, 242 sells, and the buy volume is 58% at 683,000 versus 485 on that one. And so it's going to be interesting to see that. Let's have a quick look at the burn here. The key thing is that obviously if the GUI goes up and the price of Ethereum goes up, then the cost in US dollars is higher. If the GUI goes up, then you're obviously paying a bit more for the minting. It will cost you more. So those are really key drivers here. We've seen pretty high GUI, and of course that has made the cost price go up, which is a driver. It's not invincible. Obviously, if there's a big massive risk off, then the price can do anything it wants in terms of dumping down below cost, but it's definitely a driver longer term. The coverage cost at 16 GUI, 46 days, so really not profitable to do something short now. So all the short people that are minting and dumping, it's not that profitable for them anymore. As soon as this goes up to like 22 GUI, this goes up over 3 months. So you can see the actual tokenomics is actually starting to playing out in the right direction. And that is kind of interesting to see that. The dashboard, let's have a quick look at the minting. We've got 4.6 trillion Zen in supply. No surprises here. We already have a good idea what the supply is going to be. The things that's been interesting is that staking seems to have grown and that burning has been pretty consistent as well. And we've also seen some of the big NFTs get minted, and the minting is going up as well. So it's a slowly moving forward there. I expect the NFTs to go with the inflation. As people get more inflation, they'd say, hey, I'm going to get these limited NFTs and get them off the market, and they'll become more valuable once all of the top ones have gone, obviously with the X Unicorn being the most rarest at 100 of them. I think there's currently about 27 out of gone last time I checked. So that's kind of interesting supply there. Let's have a look at the supply changes. We've got 107 billion. That was the last big one. That was the big day around 100. This is going to taper off from moving forward mostly. We've got a new stake there, 11.3 billion, which is pretty good. And the burn just under 2.3 billion, which is on the low side, but it's still burning. And the net addition there, 96.5 billion. There's the play there. So what's the overall burn? 8.11% is burn, seems to be staying in the 8% mark pretty much. And the staking there, 6.31%. So the staking, I think, is probably going to get more popular. But then, of course, there's all these new dApps coming up, Phoenix and everything else, main chain, so much other stuff coming up. And, of course, the reflection token there, which is a competitive burning mechanism. So we'll see how that plays out too. And 85% is liquid there. So that's kind of the play. We're up to 52.4 trillion Zen to be mined in the future. And, of course, that's 9.6% of the estimation of 545. And that's not inevitable, of course. Price of gas goes up, everything else, then that stops people minting. So the way it goes. Now, the back end of this chart, see this part here, from about the 27th of March or so, seems to be missing the NFTs. So I think data's missing from the NFTs because mostly people are minting Experience now, I think it's called. So that's what they're minting there. So I think the back end's a bit deceptive here. But in any case, the data's indicating this rise up here. Now, what you are seeing pretty interesting is because the gas got high and people can't mint so short, they're really having to mint out at least 6 months these days if they want to have a reasonable chance of getting minimum profitability because they don't know what the price is. They're taking on price risk as well. And we can see that the fact is, as I've been saying for quite a while, the gap between March here and all the way through to September is low mints. So it's going to be interesting there. So we're expecting low additions to the supply at that time. And I think it's going to be fun to see that play out. Now, by September, which I guess is close to a year, is going to be another 11.7 trillion to come out. But in the meantime, of course, you've got all these products coming out, Reflection, Phoenix, and others that are going to be looking to proof of burn. And, of course, the wildcard of the mainnet, that's coming out very, very soon. Who knows? I think we're still expecting another probably another a month or two for the mainnet to come out. That is the expectation there. So, cool. I think that is kind of the highlights there. That is what's happening with Zen. I hope that you enjoyed that quick update there. One of the things that he's talked about is also using the Stargate bridge. And, of course, if you're not familiar with that Stargate bridge here, so you may use that to do transfers as well. So it's going to be interesting as well with this main chain. So this should be fun. So anyway, let's get into the Hex Daily Stats to wrap it up. Day 1,144. is hot off the press. Before we get into that, though, let's get into the comments. We're up to an hour and 5 minutes on the live stream, which is going pretty good with the timing today. I'm pretty impressed with the time today. We've got Matt and Barley in house. Hello, howdy, everybody from Matt. Brendan said 340,000 total portfolio. Nice suit, man. And yeah, good one. And what else there? We got. I hope that wasn't one of your real wallets, says Brendan. I'm not sure what you're looking at there. I don't think it was one of mine. What else do we got there? Hope on the Maxi dashboard. Oh yeah. It wasn't mine. Yeah. What else there? Just a reminder of people that staked day one for Pulse Bitcoin. It's going to delete that. Moderators aren't doing a very good job today. This is the first day. Moderators are doing a bit of a poor job there. Right, that's the second one you should have deleted. Just a reminder of people that staked day one for Pulse Bitcoin have ended and restaked 41% total mine before first halving. So far, there's been a nice update there. Yeah, I haven't updated on Pulse Bitcoin. I was actually going to cover Pulse Bitcoin today. I do know that Wolverine has sent out a warning shot about some activities got coming up later on today, so stay tuned for that. So we're on day 1,144, the 19th of January. The price down 1.1% at 2.384. The payout today pretty modest, close to the base, 6.256 hex per T-share, but that's glorious. I'm sure we'll agree. Sitting at $610 for T-share price, and the share rate is at another dot day, 25,582. We've never had so many dot days in our life, but when we do have a share rate jump, they're pretty decent. Average stake length 6.5 years, and the APY 36.16% paid out in Hex, of course. That includes the inflation yield and emergency in-state penalties. The Hex in the pool still quite high, 360 million Hex in there, so plenty of Hex for someone to buy, and we're sitting at $10.6 million US dollars. Ethereum is at 1337, so there we are at the moment. T-shares up pretty nicely today, 5,342. We're at 10,308,370 T-shares. Remember, Hex is easy to understand. We have a reward pool with the inflation and penalties, and we have an ownership pool with T-shares in it. If they go up or down, then the Hex payout per T-share changes every day, but basically it's just going to go up and to the right. So earlier pays better, get your stakes, and of course, especially before the 16th of February, because the share rate's going to jump by about 600 Hex per day. So earlier pays better, longer pays better, bigger pays better. That's how it works with Hex. It really does influence your decision. Your decisions influence your outcome. Stake percentage of coins, 10.08%. And the penalty is very modest today, 327,000 Hex. And of course, this is the Truth Engine, encourages people to keep their stakes in place. And of course, this is Richard's first principle for value pumping. People buy and hold and don't sell. There we are. So what are we going to call that? Richard Hart's first law of Richard Hart. We're going to name it something like that. let's put that way. All right, so we've got change in current holders up at 225 to 316,675. That's on Etherscan. Our headline number is the staking. Obviously, Hex is really designed for stakers. And of course, you get Hex, you buy Hex, and you stake that Hex. Your Hex gets burned, it gets off the market, and of course, disappears. And of course, you stake it, you get T-shares in return. And of course, you get the Hex payout per T-share every single day. And then you can claim them all back at the end. And the Hex that you staked gets reminted, and so does your reward. So that's kind of how it works there. We're up increase of 47 today. And of course, we want to keep increasing this. Richard Hart always says get out, do direct promotions. That's kind of his where he's from, and where he thinks is best to spend time. Holders up there, 239 holders, up to 523,769 is the total holders there on Hex. Let's jump into today. The day is 1,145. We're in the second month of year 4 of the Hex journey. So we're really growing up here on this ecosystem. Very, very fun. You can see all the growth measures. We're still growing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're getting redistribution from some of the larger, older holders that like to play around with our Hex chart and getting less powerful. So it's kind of cool too. All right. So what's the payout per T-share? Is currently at 6.237 is the base one there. That's the Hex data stats. And that is our show for today. Do you guys love that? I love it. I think we had a good show, and I hope you guys enjoyed some of that Pulsechain stuff. Let's quickly go to the hourly chart on Hex and get rid of the overlays, and let's see how we're getting on. So that is the Hex chart at the moment. Let's see if we can get a nice little green weekend. And of course, if we have a good green day on the stock market, we've had many red days, we get a nice green one. Then maybe some of that shine does shine onto the crypto markets as well, which are already green. So that just gives more green. Green on green is double green, And then if Hex goes green, that's a triple green. We got 3 triple greens there. I don't know what I'm saying, but that's going to be green all weekend. That's what we want to see. Mr. Boss says, Brian, hey, you're welcome, man. A great show, Superman. Thanks for the alpha. Brennan, hey, you're welcome. Hope you guys enjoyed it today. Let's play out some cool music on the way out. And I'm trying to keep my time frame, pretty much on time. It just depends on what's happening in the market. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. If you want to get into the Discord, you can 24/7 conversations there. Great information. We have all the links you could possibly imagine around Hex and Pulsechain, all the Pulsechain projects. You can get in there. It's going to be pretty exciting. Now, the one thing I want to say about Zen is that because Zen has been about 1/3 of the burn on the Ethereum chain, imagine what Zen, when it gets copied over to Pulsechain and people using the DAs, the UIs are going to do on Pulsechain. So if you're thinking about what is all the traffic going to be on Pulsechain, well, looks like Zen's going to be a decent contributor to that. So it's very positive from the Pulsechain point of view. And I think that's pretty exciting, getting another super DAT that's going to burn Pulse. That's going to be a good thing, right? And of course, we've got faster block times. So it looks like we're in 10-second blocks. That could be really cool. And of course, they're getting those 9% burn ratios. Probably going to stay the same. We'll see, and that's going to be good too. That is positive news, folks. And of course, on top of that, we have all these top tier AAA dApps coming. The best of Ethereum coming to the best of Pulsechain. So we're going to have a very flourishing ecosystem. It's going to be really great to see that pipe fill up with water. And of course, the price of Pulsechain go up as well. So it's going to be pretty cool. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's go and bye for now.
Here in my $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.